know that I am all about language learning, but also how to learn pretty much anything. So we have right here. So today I wanted to share with you guys a little bit more about how I integrate in these other aspects of how to learn anything, and especially language, but not just language, using our 4 core skills here of reading, writing, speaking, and listening, of course. And yeah, so if you haven't visited my page here for a little bit, just clicking on this video from your home page, I did do a sort of like I guess I redesigned my page here because I had, for a while, I had so many different things going on. I've made, over 100 videos and whatever, and I was kind of just throwing things out there for so long. And now I have more of a system in place for my videos, and although they are, I'd say it's really more fluid now, but it's more structured. Anyway, so I have my 3 sections here, and today we're in this section. We're in business and education because we are looking at how I integrate different aspects of my business and language learning. And for me, particularly since I teach about language and that's what I'm all about, it really just flows so smoothly. But I wanted to show you guys a little bit of my process for how I do all of that. So I thought we'd start here so you can see how this is all laid out, because we need to look bigger picture before we can go into some of the, more specifically how I do that, so that you guys can see, because the way that I've integrated everything is like I've planned it all out, big picture. So we're gonna look here. So we have these 3 sections here for my page that are language learning and studying. So this is like all of my language related content, and also just learning and studying, because all of those techniques that I use for language, like the techniques that I use for learning Spanish or French or Mandarin now, or any of those, I also use those techniques for other subjects, like when I'm studying math or within my business. So this is just those strategies and techniques, and then of course anything language specific. And then I have my karate section here. So this section here, it is it's in progress, but what I really want is to bring in my karate more, so that it's such a large part. I'm not sure, honestly, exactly what I want to do with it just yet, but I know that I want this to be a larger part of my channel and just with everything that I do here. So this is coming in some way. I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do some, show my karate practice, how I do that, if I'm going to make a video, if I can get some people who I know who do karate, who are at a higher level than me, to maybe bring in some of them, but something, in some way I want to integrate this, because what I integrate from karate into my language learning is more than just the lifestyle and wellness. That's all part of it, but karate is all about focus and discipline and consistency in studying and practicing and learning. And all of those core values are directly related to my language learning, because I have to have a plan, I have to make time for my studies, I have to continue, I have to problem solve when I'm struggling with something. So all those more conceptual ideas there, those are how that ties into language learning. And then of course business and education, where we are today. So we have this one here, and this is, I feel like, a little bit easier to talk about the karate because we have videos like this. And basically this section is for my education background and my now business background that I have honestly learned pretty recently. With everything that I've learned about business, I pretty much have learned within the past year. I dabbled for a few years off and on before that, but I really got serious about it for this last year and learned most of what I know now. So this section is all about education and business, just like it reads here, and I really want to integrate just aspects of how I do what I do within my business, which is what this particular video is about, how I integrate in these aspects of reading, writing, speaking, and listening into my business, and how I also use my business to improve in my own studies and my teaching and all of that, because it is all just extremely connected. So now that we have that picture of like how basically how YouTube is fitting into my business, we're going to hop on over to my website and we're going to see how that basically YouTube then feeds into my business, because the idea behind my YouTube channel is that, of course, I create content for YouTube for the purpose of having it on there, because eventually my channel will be monetized and it will be another income stream for me. But for right now, it's not. So the way that YouTube fits into my business is that it brings in people to my website, and we're going first over to my blog, but it brings them in over there, and then so you guys who are watching this now, we're going into my blog and then into my other programs and offers there, like my course and my book. Okay, so jumping on over to my website here. So this is the back end of my website, and this is actually going with this video that I'm making right now. So very integrated here. But so you can see here that I have this post, and so the way that I integrate this here is I use my content that I make now across each of my platforms. So this will likely have an Instagram post to go along with it. I haven't made it at this point, so we'll see if that fits in there and how that fits in there. But I have this reflection process because I found that going through the creation of the content in my course, that writing things out before I create presentations on them, or even like YouTube videos, it helps me to just analyze more in depth about and just really get to know that process better. So what I do here is I have my business, right? I have my, let's open another page here. I have my I have my website here. You go to the home page, and then I have my my home page. Let's just start here. So I have all of this set up with my bookstore. Oh, that currently just has my book and my one book for right now, but hopefully many more in the future. And then my YouTube channel, so that feeds in here, and then my blog. That is just how I bring more people to my website, and then my blog, some of the posts, and then my Instagram. So this was my Instagram post from last week for that video, and that video went with this post over here. So if I go to my blog and then I go to this post here about Mandarin, last video that you guys saw, and so I did this post here and I integrated this language learning into my business by using my content as a way to reflect on my own learning. So even more than just creating content around what I'm doing and like creating content that then feeds into my business, I have this content that sort of, like the way that I see it, it looks over everything that I do. So rather than like a lot of the online business models, they have just content that feeds into, like, they have YouTube, they have Instagram, and then it pulls people to the website. Well, mine is different, a little bit different. It does that too, but I wanted it to, like, I just really wanted to feel connected to my content, and I wanted to feel like I wanted to be genuinely motivated to create it, like this video, because I just want to have that connection with what I do. So I thought, okay, how can I create content in a way that not only brings people in here, but also is motivating for me because it is improving my understanding of what I do. So I am reflecting on my own process here of, in this case, learning Mandarin, what I'm doing so far. And this contributes to my business because I'm creating content for it about language learning, and I'm sharing strategies and the techniques and everything that I do. And it also improves my own ability to learn and to, in this case, learning another language, because I'm reflecting on what I'm doing so I can see, like, okay, what have I done so far? Well, I have my book, I got started with that, and then I have my Duolingo, my Scooter, my textbooks, all of these things, and how I'm integrating and adjusting. So it's that reflection piece on my own learning, which is where, like, even more writing comes in. Even though this writing is in English, it still is using those skills and just really integrating everything. And then I took this even one step further. So I wrote this, and then I made the video, and then I made this Instagram post here, which, let's see if we can see this. So this Instagram post here has these multiple pages here. So we see that we have, so I thought about, okay, what have I learned up to this point? Because sometimes I am going to just post pictures of my notes and things like that, because I think it's nice to see how other people study, and the note-taking is, just a crucial skill to have as a language learner. But I really didn't have a lot of, I still don't have a lot of that at this point for my Mandarin, because most of it I write in my book and my textbook, and it's not pretty. Like, it just, I don't know, I didn't feel like that would be useful. So I thought of a way to do it that would be more useful. And so I just thought about, what have I learned so far? And I created a post out of it. And this one, although it hasn't gotten a ton of likes on it, I mean, it's gotten a decent amount, but it gets about twice as many saves as it does likes. So this content strategy ended up working out pretty well for me, because it's something that people are saving and they can refer back to, so it means that people must like it, they're saving it, right? So I have this, and I just went through and I thought about, okay, what have I learned so far, and let me reflect even further. Then, because this my blog post was a little bit more broad, and this is specifically what have I learned about Mandarin. And so I went through this whole process, and this is on my Instagram if you want to head over and take a look at that more, like, at your own pace and not me just clicking through it. But yeah, I just went through all of this, and I love this balance part because it's just like karate, like I put on here, so even more even integrated within my integration. And so I just thought through the process, and balance is huge in karate, like just having the balance, like physical balance, but also just balance of tasks to do, like balance of studying techniques, studying forms, studying all these different things, and then allowing that to progress over time and dedicating just enough time to each one so that everything is carefully balanced. So I really loved that. And yeah, I just went through this, and that's what I ended up with. And then I added this on here at the end so that people know that, hey, there's more, right? So there's also the YouTube video and then a blog post. And yeah, so I put this on here so that then my Instagram community can also benefit from the other aspects of this as well in video form and blog form. So with all of this now, you can see how, like with my last video, how I did that integration within my blog and then within the video and then within the Instagram post and all of that. And now we're gonna hop back over to my website and look specifically at this week's content that I'm creating right now and how all of that fits together in much of the same way that the Mandarin content all fits together in language learning. Except now with this content, I am reflecting on my reflection of my learning Mandarin. So we're like going really meta here. Now back on this week, we have how I integrate my business and language learning. So this video here. And I started with the blog post because I just like to write. So I wrote that all out and reflecting on basically what I did last week. So this is the meta part going into that. And I wrote all this out and I have over here on the side. So this is also my integration process, is having all of these pieces over on the side so that when people come to my website, then they know that, hey, this is what I'm all about, and these are ways that they can get more content from me, or so my book, or they can work with me in the Linguist Dojo, because that's currently the only way that people can come to work with me. But yeah, they have all of that. And then down here I have a space for this video once it is created. And then a question for anyone who reads my blog to come on here and add comments. Currently we don't have any comments on any of these right now because when I moved my website, I couldn't carry the comments over. So that is how I create my content and how everything is integrated within my business and my system. And it's a little bit, it is built in a way that it's all feeding together, it's all intertwined, but it's actually quite simple because there are just very few parts to manage because I do everything myself. And I know that some people like to delegate tasks to other people and then just focus on being the delegator, the CEO kind of strategy, but I really like to just be in the process. So I just keep it very straightforward with those 3 topics, and then my Instagram and my website and my YouTube, and everything is just wicked together and it is pretty smooth. I hope that this was helpful for you guys for just seeing, I know that I like to see how other people do things, and even if you are not building an online business, you still can see how you can get creative with your language learning and with different aspects of your life, and how you can think about ways to optimize productivity and just ways to make everything flow together so it's so much more seamless. Because when you find a way that you like doing something, you are so much more likely to actually do it. And so that's why I just really focus on how can I do this in a way where I will just love doing it, because I know that the content that comes out is going to be so much better because I'm just so much more in it. And then it's also just less work, it's less effort to do something that you enjoy doing, so you're more likely to do it. But yeah, that's my take on it. So let me know. I would love to hear what you guys think about this process, and even any questions that you have if you are trying to do something similar, or questions about your language learning, any kind of integration aspects, or just any questions at all that you guys have for me. Otherwise, I will see you back here next time.